G'day and welcome back, Minecrafters! So, in the last episode, we talked about how these amethyst geodes are easiest to find underneath the water. Now, that opens up a brand new problem. You see, if you wanted to make something like an amethyst shard farm, it means that generally you're pretty much stuck to being under the water, which makes things particularly difficult. Namely, because the actual budding amethyst, which is the ones that actually grow the crystals, can't be moved at all, unfortunately. So wherever they actually spawn in your world is basically where you're going to have to build your farm, and given that it's easiest to actually find them under the water, that means that generally your farm's gonna have to be underneath the water as well. So that's going to make things a little bit more complicated. But on the flip side, we are Minecrafters and water has never really stopped us. So let's get on with the farm and go from there. So to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a way to actually collect all the amethyst shards. And we're just going to chuck a chest underneath two hoppers, kind of like that. So nothing too complicated so far. And now from here, what we're going to do is have 4 different hoppers all facing into the top one. So a little bit like this. And then the next thing that we're going to do is just basically put in 4 sticky pistons all facing upwards so that we can basically push those hoppers to collect them. If the game lets me put them upwards. It has changed a little bit how we place things. But that's okay, that's okay. Alright, so from here what we want to do is have 4 different observers, all observing these different sides. Just a little bit like this. Just a little bit like that. And then from there, what we can do is finally get on with our actual mechanism. You see, the other problem with amethyst shards is that there's actually 4 different growth stages. So we've got the small, the medium, the large, and the amethyst cluster. We can only harvest it once it's actually reached this point here, which means that if we harvest it at any of these 3 points, well, we don't get anything out of it. So that makes it even more harder. But what we're going to do with this is, so that this only gets triggered once every 4 shots, we're going to actually have a bit of a tape reel underneath the water here. So we're going to make something just a little bit like that to start off with. You have to forgive my voice, I'm kind of losing my voice today. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to build a bit of a square, kind of like this. You don't need to use iron blocks. The iron blocks are just to make it a little bit more easier for you guys to see so that you can, I don't know, sort of see it a bit more easier. But aside from that, basically, it's just basically going to be a big sort of square at the moment. Kind of like that. And then we can just do our last one like that. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to keep our tape reel going. So we need to have an observer there, and just a regular piston facing down like that. And then on this side, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to basically be having one facing down and then one facing inwards like that. And then finally, we have one facing up, one facing across, and a regular piston facing like that. Now from here, what you want to do is delete all of the ones that are in the way, hopefully without destroying things too much. It can be a little bit tricky, as you just saw myself actually mess it all up. And finally, what we need is just a block of redstone. So nice and cheap at least. That's the cheap part here. Okay, and then the final part of this is going to just be 2 more blocks of any sort, obviously, and having 2 repeaters on top like that. That's pretty much all of one side complete and ready for it to harvest the amethyst shards. So what I'm going to do next is I'll do the other 4 sides, so you'll be able to see it as well. So again, it's pretty much just repeating things over and over again. The main reason why we're doing 4 of these is because we're going to be harvesting from 4 sides to try and make it so that we get as much as possible, because these shards don't grow very fast at all. They're very, very slow. As I've spent most of today and part of last week actually discovering that they're incredibly slow. So yeah, have that to look forward to. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so that should be that. You'll notice that the pistons actually get triggered multiple times as well, because these pistons fire off and then the observer observes the piston moving. there's no cheap way to get rid of it. You can get rid of that, but it's not cheap, and realistically, it's not going to improve anything. So if you are getting a bit of lag because of this farm, yeah, there's ways around it, but I'd probably just live with lag, to be honest. It's probably just as easy. So with that, we just need to do that again. And if I do it backwards, it shouldn't have any problems. No. Then I can just chuck in this final one. And then I can do the final last one over here. So we, again, just go up, across, and you get the idea. It's fairly straightforward, but it does seem to work. So that's the main thing. It's a farm that's fully automated, and basically you can just sit back and relax or do some fishing or something like that. So we'll just clear off those and finally put in a redstone block here. Okay, so now we've got 4 of those. Now I just need to continue that on with the repeaters. The repeaters, just make sure that you've got the actual switch here set to the very last position. You can just basically control that just by, well, on a computer it's right clicking, but it would be whatever the button is that you use to actually place it down with. And that one's been done, and I just need to do this one over here. So kind of like that, and like that. Finally, that's all, pretty much everything done. So what will happen is that when the shards grow, basically you'll notice that the redstone block here gets pushed over, and it will keep on going around as it grows to the different growth stages until it eventually gets here on the 3rd stage. And then on the 4th stage, when it gets activated, it gets pushed over here, activates these 2 repeaters, which means that the piston goes off, and this hopper will actually collect the amethyst shard itself and then put it into this central hopper, if you can sort of see it, just through there, and finally into our chest. So yeah, completely automated, completely easy, but not the cheapest, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's quite a technical kind of farm, to be honest. It's not like too simple. What I might do though, because obviously these shards do take some time to grow, I'm going to up my actual random tick speed to do it as 100, just so that we can try and see what it's like when it does grow. And there we go. So we got our very first amethyst shard all harvested. So yes, this farm is not a quick farm by any stretch of the imagination. With the actual geodes, you're probably likely to only be able to actually use 2 of the actual budding amethysts for the farms, just because this machine is quite large. If you can fit in more, obviously go for it. But yes, it's going to be quite a tight sort of fit to fit in 2 of them. So that's a bit of a downside to things. But on the flip side, we do actually get a fully automated farm, and we get our shards, which are very, very useful. One other thing that I'd probably recommend, while these farms are fully automated, they're not going to be quick. They're going to be incredibly slow. That's why we're using 4 sides here, is just because even still, like running at a random tick speed of 100 and running 4 at the same time, it's still going to be incredibly slow. In fact, I've only gotten 4 in this whole time. So yeah, there's a bit of a downside to it. I would probably recommend actually having something like a conduit in the area so that you can breathe underwater and also have a bit of night vision. And not only that, probably do some fishing, because yeah, this is probably going to be quite some time that you're going to be spending here. It's not a quick thing, unfortunately. So yeah, look at this. Like, this is random tick speed 100, and it's still not overly quick. So if we go back to the regular, or the actual tick speed, that is here, you'll notice that you probably will be lucky to see even one of these move, because this is going to take quite a long amount of time. It's not quick. Okay, I've been literally sitting here for 10 minutes and nothing has happened. This is just ridiculous now. How far... How slow are these farms? This is ridiculous. Okay, so you're not going to be getting very much very quickly, I'd say. So we've gotten 8 in total, but that was with the much quicker tick speed. This is definitely going to be quite a slow farm. So yeah, there we go. We've got a farm that works underneath the water, and you should be able to build this with the help of a conduit and obviously some quartz and things like that and iron. It shouldn't be too expensive. I mean, worst comes to worst, you can always just build one, and that will be, you know, quite a bit. Hopefully it's somewhere near your base, because obviously it doesn't look like you're gonna get a lot very quickly, but yes, none have even moved at all. These farms are crazy. Okay, well, I guess since that it's not going to be moving anytime soon, well, I hope you guys like the video and enjoy the farm. But yes, obviously these are going to be very slow, so don't expect any quick results. And I'm stalling for time because obviously I want to see one move a little bit. Maybe? No? Okay then. Well, I guess, yeah, I guess that's the video. I'll just move already. Come on. How slow are these things? Okay, these are kind of ridiculously slow. But I hope you guys had fun. There'll be a link in the video for that little sort of 3D graph. Well, for that 3D model that you can sort of see floating around in one of the corners. And I'll see you, as always, in the next one. Catch you guys. Seriously? None of them are moving. Not even one block has moved in this entire time. It hasn't even advanced one single growth stage on anything. I'm going to be here forever. How long does this take? Surely, just one. Just one move. One growth stage. That's all that we want. One growth stage. Just a single growth stage. I'm not asking for you to harvest it, just one growth stage. No, nothing whatsoever. Right, well, I guess that's the video. Yeah. Oh, just come on. You can't just go one single one.